Deep in the heart of Texas, this news lies, and today we are talking about the Toyota Tundra and Sequoia. They've got some new updates that you're going to want to know about if you're interested in purchasing one for the 26 model year. So stick around and let's get into that news. But before we do that, go ahead and smash that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate that. And let's get to today's story. So the 2026 Toyota Tundra. Now, a lot of people thought, okay, this is going to be the year that we're going to get that mid-cycle refresh. But if you remember Toyota, they don't really, they don't go big, do big splashes. They just don't go wild with their refreshes. They're very incremental. Here's what you're going to just slowly. And by the end of the truck's life cycle, you're like, damn, they really built a badass vehicle. And I think that's what today's news is basically about. It's just incremental changes. And let's get into those. So first off, we're going to start with the capstone trim. And now both Sequoia and Tundra is going to get some updates to their capstone trim. So stick around if you're interested in both these. But the interior is going to be updated with the shale premium textured leather trim. Now, while especially capstone I see more for the Sequoia than I do Tundra, I'm not one that wants some fancy truck. If I want something fancy, I probably would go more of an SUV route. But Toyota still, with the capstone, still doing well with them. I see quite a few floating around, so there must be buyers out there that are interested in having that upper scale trim. So that they're giving that a little bit refresh is actually showing confidence in that trim, which I didn't know they had, to be honest, because I haven't kept up with what Capstone's doing. But what I have kept up with are these isodynamic seats. Well, they've not been necessarily hit in the Tacoma. Well, everybody loves them from the front seat. It's back seat that you just don't want those seats is because you have a four-door truck that's not a two-door truck. But if you have these seats in there, well, because of the big pistons in the back, they help when you're bouncing on the trails, they help keep you stable. Your people in behind you are going through their knees are going through those pistons and just wondering why the life choices they made to be your family member, basically, because they are not having a fun time back there. Well, Toyota has decided to put these seats as in the TRD Pro of the Tundra as well. Now, they are optional, so don't freak out and be like, hey, there goes, I wanted that new Tundra. There it goes, I'm not buying it. I think these seats will work better in the full-size truck. Now, I think these smaller size trucks is where you're truly doing all the off-roading that you need the seats for. But I think that with the full size, you do already have some legroom to play with. So it's going to be nice that they actually offer those. And of course, they are going to be available in the TRD Pro. So that is kind of nice. And Wavemaker is also available. And of course, you see it right here. That new color is pretty rad, man. These 80s colors are popping. And can you just imagine kind of that yellow, pink with it going along with this? Definitely would bring back the ocean vibe, all the OB clothes I used to wear as a kid, man, thinking I was a surfer. Definitely brings those vibes back, which I think is really, really cool. And I like that Toyota's willing to take some chances here. Paint's a pretty easy way to take chances, and I think it's pretty smart of them to do that because you look at, like, of course, we're gonna say the TRD Pro is Toyota's somewhat version of like what Ford does with the Raptor, but I've never seen Ford really take a chance on color with the Raptors. So for the TRD Pro to get something like this in the full-size trucks and your competition's just staying boring with their colors, I think that's a pretty damn good job by Toyota of adjusting, going, hey, you know, maybe we can't offer all the fun that they do, but they're not going to do this. So I say good job, Toyota, on that. And speaking of good job, the TRD 3-inch lift is now going to be available for the TRD Rally. So if you've been interested in kind of owning one of those rallies, and maybe you're kind of in that Ford camp with the, you know, you want something aggressive, but you don't want that full Raptor-like, of course, the Rally's kind of in that for Toyota. I think it's a nice in-betweener that gives you some throwback fun. Get some cool colors with it, and now you can get a nice lift kit with it. That's pretty freaking rad. And speaking of rad, the biggest news of all for the Tundra is going to be the 32.2 gallon fuel tank. Now, this is something that the import brands with Nissan and Toyota, they just never got right about full-size trucks. They just never gave them enough fuel capacity because, hey, here we in America, we like to go from coast to coast. And can you imagine having the smaller fuel tank trying to do that? Well, my buddy Tim with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, you know, he does those million miles where he watches a guy every 5-6 years do 1,000,000 miles in his Tundra. Can you imagine if you had the smaller fuel tank trying to do that, stopping every like 300 miles? That's a no bueno, man. That's not going to work out. So the fact that Toyota is offering 32-gallon tanks in this, of course, you know, it's not optional anymore. It's just this is what you get, I think that is a good job. And I think if other brands like Nissan with their Titan had just paid attention to small details like that, I think they would have won more customers. But is what it is, and that truck's gone, and the Tundra's here to stay. So we're going to get that iForce Max engine, still making 437 horsepower and 583 foot-pound of torque. So the truck can work. and work it does, because this thing's built deep in the heart of Texas, which is very proud of. They, I mean, I've got my Texas hat on. Toyota, it's in their press release. They're very, very proud of this, and why? We live in a world of tariffs right now, and where the big three, a lot of them are building some of their trucks down in Mexico, and they're really going to get more expensive. Toyota is assembled here in the United States, so I think that is a good thing. Of course, all vehicles are going to get hit with tariffs a little bit, because not every part is built here in the United States, but they are, like the Tundra is going to be assembled here in the United States. So I think that's an awesome job, keeping American jobs here, and I do like that quite a bit. Now, finally, with the truck, 12,000 pounds of towing. You know, that's going to do most everything you need, man. Days are gone where it was like 8,000 pounds, and then we start getting into this, you know, tow battles. 12,000 pounds, I think, is a good sweet spot that's going to pull most things that you want to pull, whether it be a big camper or a trailer, or, you know, maybe that big boat, that big 20-foot boat that you need to get to the lake. I think this truck can do it. And speaking of doing it, we got to go to the Sequoia side of this thing, because there's big news there as well. Sequoia is probably me and Kelly's favorite full-size SUV out there right now. The TRD Pro especially, I like it. I like the aggressive body lines that it has. And Toyota does it right with their SUVs. If they're going to do an off-road trim, it's damn well going to look like an off-road vehicle, which I like quite a bit. The Tremor, some of the stuff that other brands are doing, I'm like, they're fun. But when Toyota does it, they're going to make it look like it's got badass, ready to go, you know, Planet Kick-Ass. And I think this is cool. Now it's going to get the new Wave color, which is, once again, super exciting. I do like that quite a bit. But there's a couple other things. You know, the limited model is going to get some leather trim seats. They are doing some massaging seats in some of the trims, so that is kind of nice. Now, towing on this is about 9,520 pounds. So, you know, you can't expect to get full capacity like you did with the truck. But I think if you're looking to tow your big 18-foot boat, maybe you're going camping, you can pack the back of it. You and a family of 4 or 5 comfortably can get in this thing and have lots of room for your gear. I think this is a truck that should be on your list as well. And if you look at its price, very competitive versus the big three, so that's another win-win for me. And you're getting the iForce Max engine in this, once again, making all the horsepowers, that 400 plus horsepower, the almost near 600 foot-pounds of torque. So that is a big win as well for me, and I, for one, am excited by this. And once again, in the press release, I'm sitting here looking at it, assembled in the USA, which, good job, Toyota. I'm very happy for that. And I think I don't care what manufacturer, as long as you're building in my country that I live in, I think that's pretty freaking rad. And I think that means a lot. And I do look at that when I purchase a vehicle. Where is it built? Because that does matter to me, and it should matter to you. So in the comments below, let me know what you think. Are you excited by the new Wave color? I think it's pretty rad. We have seen it. You know, it jumped out about a month ago, and we saw this color at one of the other press launches of some vehicles, and I think it looks good. We do know also it's coming to the 4Runner as well, but will those isodynamic seats get put in the 4Runner? Something to think about. So in the comments, let me know what you think. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these badass Toyotas, I cannot wait to drive. I got a ride coming up in both of these vehicles, like next month, I think. It's been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love you all.